Hi guys, so today I am reviewing the Mazda 3 yet again, and having already driven the 1.5 liter mid-spec model and the 2 liter high sedan, today I am reviewing the 2 liter High Plus hatchback, which is the range topping variant of the model range, priced at 160,000 ringgit. You can also have a sedan model with the exact same combination of features for the same price. So having already generated quite a number of videos on this car, the overwhelming feedback from the comment section that we received, okay, it revolves around these few things. One, Mazda 3, new Mazda 3, very, very expensive. 2, rear torsion beam. 3, 1.5 liter, very underpowered. Well, let me address point number 3 first. Now I am driving the 2 liter model, and I can say that from a sheer performance standpoint, between this and the 1.5 for day-to-day driving, it's not a significant difference. The additional capacity and outputs of this engine really only manifest themselves in any significant form if you are a regular long-distance traveler. You need that that little bit of more effortlessness to traverse the highways, to carry the speeds. Then yes, okay, because in terms of the sheer speeds, the actual speeds that you will be carrying in your day-to-day driving, the 1.5 is just as fast as the 2 liter model. Maybe it will take an extra second to accelerate to your desired speed, but the way Mazda calibrated the transmission, to me, it hardly feels underpowered. The transmission makes a big difference in ensuring that the 1.5 is able to adequately move the Mazda 3 without feeling poorly underpowered. Okay, but the one difference that you do get is when you're traveling at highway speeds, you will be carrying more revs in the 1.5 versus the 2 liter model here. I believe that's because Mazda geared the transmission so that it is able to better leverage on the lesser torque of the 1.5 engine. But otherwise, in terms of from a performance standpoint, I would summarize the 1.5 as having a very cleverly tuned gearbox that helps you cover over what you would expect to be a significant performance deficit for the 1.5, in that it becomes actually a fairly usable day-to-day machine. Okay, that's one. Now, but still, even if, now that we got that out of the way, even with performance not as big as an issue as I expected it to be, I would still actually say that if you are looking at a Mazda 3, you are actually still better off picking the 2 liter model here. Why? Simply because some of the equipment deficits of the 1.5 I think is quite unacceptable at this price range. No keyless entry, to me, cannot lah, tak boleh man, right? And I think if you come here to this 2 liter High Plus model, having, you know, the Mazda iActive Sense package, that is extra money worth spending if you can afford it. I'm not so bothered with the sunroof, to be honest. The sunroof does nothing to me. The seats, the seat upholstery, I actually prefer sitting on fabric rather than leather. But the overall equipment count, okay, that is on offer means it is still the 2 liter model that is by and large the smarter money. So here right now I've just hit the Lekas Highway, and Yeah, actually, the performance of the 2-liter engine is, well, in true form of the Skyactiv of the Skyactiv engine, is it has that ready and raring to go feel about it. It does feel faster than the 1.5, okay, in terms of the urgency of its acceleration. But as I look at the heads-up display, I am not seeing numbers that I failed to achieve in the 1.5 liter model either. So I would say that, you know, if you were to once again compare the performance gap between a 2 liter and the 1.5, both of them will eventually bring you to roughly the same level of speed. But the 2 liter does get you there a little bit faster. Now then, of course, there's also comments that, you know, Mazda has downgraded the suspension of the 3 by switching from rear multi-links to torsion beam. And if you are speaking at it from a sheer technical standpoint, can't run away from it. Absolutely correct. In the simplest terms, if you are driving this for track applications, there is no doubt that if you had a multi-link rear suspension, you really are better off. But has the use of a torsion beam severely compromised the Mazda 3's dynamics on a day-to-day basis? Nope, it has not. In fact, I find the overall handling of this car to be pleasingly sharp. Okay, it steers. All right, most notably the steering. This new Mazda 3 has a very sharp steering. The steering response is fast. Okay, the front end turns with fantastic urgency. You just turn your steering point, it goes. And this characteristic is in fact helped by Mazda's decision to use a torsion beam at the rear, because the rear torsion beam, it promotes a slight sideways pitching effect at the rear that in turn helps point the front end more sharply into the corner. That contributes to how the new Mazda 3 seems to steer sharper than its predecessor. Now, one thing also I must point out that the ride quality, whilst I wouldn't call it uncomfortable, but it's definitely firm. This morning I was driving this car, I was fetching one of our colleagues. He had a can of drinks in his hand. And I distinctly get the feeling that, you know, I should not be going very quickly on the undulating surfaces, on the worry that I may shake the drinks off his can. Yeah. So the suspension irons out potholes, patches of road, but when it comes to undulating surfaces, it doesn't yield so much. So when it comes to when it's those long wave undulation, the body actually moves quite a bit with the surface. But I think ultimately, overall, the big question remains: is it worthwhile spending 160,000 ringgit on this car? And let me answer it another way. If you are looking for a sheer value for money proposition in the C segment, you can't actually go wrong with the Honda Civic. You really are better off with the Honda Civic. The Mazda 3 here, it has really pushed itself to sit one step up from its competitors in terms of a product, of a value perception standpoint. I mean, look at the design language of this car, the way they mold the sheet metal of this car, the way they built the interior. It's still not fully there with the Germans in terms of sheer sophistication, but the fit and finish, the material selection, definitely on par, and I would say even surpasses cars like the Mercedes A-Class or the BMW 1 Series, right? It does not have this, it does miss out on some of the more really sophisticated touches of the Germans, but yeah, in terms of the weight of, you know, all these soft touch plastics, of, you know, how well the panels align, Mazda is already there with the premium boys. They are already there, and I'm sure those of you with an eye for design, with an eye for aesthetics, you can't argue against this design. There is a good debate to be had, particularly with regards to the hatchback, you know, especially on how the rear section, the rear quarter of the body, you know, it has that slightly big butt kind of feel, but there is no arguing against the fact that it is also a very eye-catching design. And you know, when it comes to being premium, one of the factors that we do look at is, does your car command attention on the road? And there is no arguing against the fact that this Mazda 3, if you were to drive it out on the road, it will get your attention, it will get your eyeballs. So ultimately, the Mazda 3, is it the best value buy in the segment? No, but it does feel a step above its rivals in terms of design, in terms of quality, in terms of driving experience and sophistication. So yeah, this car, think of this car as your next step up, all right, before you enter the realm of full-blown premium cars. This is just one step away from being a full-blown premium car.